Now, yesterday we saw how to go from a fraction to a decimal using division. Now we're going to look at how to go from a fraction to a decimal without using division. Now, in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that denominator, the number at the bottom. In reality, I want the number at the bottom to be a 1 with zeros. So what I mean with that is I want that denominator to be a 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. I want it to be a 1 with zeros. Okay, so that's what I want. So 25, I'm looking at question number 5. 25 cannot make it into 10, right? Because it's less, it's smaller. Again, let me just write a list here what I want. I want that denominator to be either 10, I want it to be either 100, I want it to be either 1,000, I want it to be either 10,000. So I wanted a 1 with zeros. So once again, I don't think I can make it into 10 unless I deal with decimals. But even though my answer is a decimal, I'm not going to deal with decimals yet. What I can do here, that I can make 25 into 100. Okay, so how many times is 25 going to 100? 4 times. What I'm going to do, let me multiply top and bottom by 4. Now 24 times 4 is 96. 25 times 4 is 100. Again, I'm going to use my denominator. I want it to be a 1 with zeros. In this case, I already have it. Now, my answer will be pretty simple to write. I'm going to write the number on the top. So let me write a 96. To begin with, let me write 96. Now, the amount of zeros at the bottom is how many decimal places I'm going to have. Now, decimal places is how many numbers after the decimal point. So I'm going to write my decimal point there, but I need to see where. Do I put it before the 9? Do I put it after the 6? Do I put it in between the 9 and the 6? I need to write a decimal point somewhere. Now, because my 1 at the bottom has 2 zeros, I'm going to have 2 decimal places. So 2 numbers after the decimal point. In this case, let me put my decimal point here. Notice I have 2 numbers after my decimal point. Now, the space before my decimal point, I cannot leave it blank. So let me put a 0 there. And my answer is 0.96. That's it. I use the number on the top of my fraction. And then the denominator, the number at the bottom, tells me how many decimal places. All right, let's take a look at question number 6. The bottom is kind of how I want it. Remember, I want a 10, 100, 1,000. I want a 1 with zeros. So I'm okay with that already. So my answer is going to be a 9. To begin with, there's going to be a 9 in my answer. But then I have to worry about my decimal place. My denominator has 1 0, right? Because it's a 10. My denominator has 1 0. I see it here. So I'm going to have I'm going to have 1 decimal place. So only 1 numbered after my decimal point. My space before the point, I cannot leave it empty. So let me call it 0.9. Didn't have to do much on that one. Let's take a look at question number 7. The denominator can easily make it into a 10. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2. Because the bottom is going to become 10. Good. Now the top, 2 times 2 is 4. I'm just looking at the fraction. I'm ignoring the mixed number. I'm ignoring the whole number for right now. I'm just looking at my fraction. 4 over 10. So my answer will have a 4. Now I need to worry about my decimal point. Okay, I have 1 decimal place because I only have 1 0. So only 1 numbered after the decimal point. Now the the space before the decimal, in this case, I'm gonna write a 5 in there. The space before the decimal point, we're gonna write the whole number, if any, right? Notice how I had a whole number, so that's why I wrote a 5. So my answer is gonna be 5.4. Now let's take a look at question number 8. I can turn this into 100. I could turn this into 1,000, but I can also turn it into 10. So I'm actually going to do this into 10. Let me multiply this times 5 and the bottom times 5 because the bottom is going to become 10, right? 2 times 5 is 10. Now the top, 1 times 5 is 5. So my answer does have a 5. I need to see my decimal places because the bottom number only has 1 0. So only have one decimal place. That means only one numbered after the decimal point. So my decimal point goes right there. Now the space before my point, can I leave it blank? So I'm gonna write this as 0.5. Let me just explain something really quick. What if I had something like, let's say 3 over 100? My answer will have a 3. But in this case, I need 2 decimal places because I have 2 zeros at the bottom. So I need 2 decimal places, so 2 numbers after the decimal point. So let me add an extra 0 here to be able to complete my 2 decimal places. Don't put it at the end of the 3, put it before the 3. Okay? And then in this case, my answer will be 0.03. Interesting, okay? The amount of zeros at the bottom tells me how many decimal places I should have.